Barcelona are back, and this time they look unstoppable. Last season they conquered Spain by winning both La Liga and the Copa del Rey while falling just short of the Champions League final. However, with a golden generation of youngsters, a high-flying style of play, and Hansi Flick entering his second season as manager, Barca has turned into a machine that looks more ruthless than ever. Barcelona's 24-25 campaign was their best in years. They lifted the La Liga trophy, finishing ahead of Real Madrid by a comfortable margin with an attack that scored the most goals in Europe's top 5 leagues. Their domestic dominance was underlined by winning the Copa del Rey, completing a double that silenced the critics who doubted whether Hansi Flick could impose his philosophy on a squad in transition. But perhaps the biggest statement came in the Champions League, where Barcelona reached the semi-finals before narrowly falling to Inter Milan. That run proved that Barcelona weren't just competitive in Spain, they were a genuine European powerhouse once again. Flick's tactics, blending relentless pressing with a high defensive line, forced opponents into mistakes and gave Barcelona an identity reminiscent of their peak Luis Enrique and Pep Guardiola eras. It wasn't perfect, injuries left them stretched, Lewendowski also missed some key games. Eventually, their lack of experience cost them, and no Champions League silverware still lingers. But compared to the uncertainty of just a few years ago, Barcelona have gone from a club in crisis to one that is now setting the standard. And that's what makes this season so dangerous for their rivals. Perhaps the scariest thing about Barcelona right now isn't just the trophies they won last season, it's the age profile of their squad. This is no longer a team leaning on fading veterans, but one powered by a golden generation of young talent that looks set to dominate for years. At the heart of it all is Pedri, just 22, whose vision, passing range and ability to control the tempo of matches have drawn inevitable comparisons to Andres Iniesta. After an injury-ridden 2023, he is finally fit and once again orchestrating games with a maturity far beyond his age. Alongside him is Gavi, only 21, whose aggressive energy, relentless pressing and tactical intelligence provide the fire and bite in midfield. His return from a long-term injury has felt like a new signing, giving Barcelona an extra edge in big games. Then there is Lamine Yamal, the 18-year-old prodigy, already breaking records as the youngest scorer and creator in multiple competitions. With dazzling dribbling, explosive pace and a fearless mentality, Yamal looks destined to become Barcelona's next global superstar. Adding balance to all that flair is Marc Caicedo, a 21-year-old ball winner who brings steel and defensive stability in the middle of the park, allowing his more creative teammates to thrive. And in defence, Pau Cubarsí has emerged as one of the revelations of the season. At just 18, he already looks like the natural heir to Gerard Piqué, combining calm composure under pressure with excellent one-on-one defending and courage in possession. What makes this core truly frightening is not just their talent but their age. The average age of the squad is 23, yet they're already dictating games against Europe's elite. Combined with the experienced leaders like Robert Lewandowski, Frenkie de Jong and Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Barcelona have struck the perfect balance between youthful hunger and veteran know-how. When Hansi Flick took over at Barcelona, there were doubts. Could a manager best known for his treble-winning Bayern side replicate that success at Camp Nou? 1 year in, the answer seems clear: yes, and maybe even more. Flick's philosophy revolves around a high defensive line and aggressive pressing. Barca suffocate opponents by squeezing the pitch, winning the ball high and immediately transitioning into attack. Their defensive line often sits just inside the opposition half, a risk that pays off thanks to Cubarsí's composure and Jules Koundé's pace. In midfield, Flick has built a system where Frenkie de Jong and Caicedo recycle possession, while Pedri and Gavi create overloads in the half spaces. This has given Barcelona control in games against both smaller sides and European giants. Going forward, Flick has given Lamine Yamal freedom to express himself, with Lewandowski still deadly in the box and Raphinha offering width on the opposite flank. This combination has seen Barca average 2.6 goals per game in La Liga, while maintaining a defence that concedes less than 0.7 goals per match. But perhaps most importantly, Flick has brought confidence back to the squad. His second season is when his methods truly bed in, just as they did at Bayern. Now, with the team fully drilled in his philosophy, Barcelona look like a side ready to sweep all before them. What makes Barcelona so intimidating is their style of play. They don't just win matches, they dominate them. Last season, they averaged 65% possession in La Liga, with passing sequences that wore teams down. But unlike the sterile possession of recent years, Flick's Barcelona attack with purpose. The high line means the midfield starts their attacks closer to goal. Yamal and Raphinha stretch defensive wide, while Pedri and Gavi cut inside to create central overloads. This gives Lewandowski space to operate, with fullbacks like Alejandro Balde bombing forward to add width. Defensively, the press starts with Lewandowski and Yamal closing down opposition centre-backs. The midfield squeezes space, forcing hurried passes, while the defensive line sits high enough to intercept. Barcelona ended last season with the highest press success rate in Spain, showing just how effectively they disrupt opponents. If Guardiola's Barcelona was poetry in motion, Flick's Barcelona is a storm, fast, relentless and overwhelming. And that makes them a nightmare for anyone standing in their way this season. Domestically, the biggest threat to Barcelona remains Real Madrid. Los Blancos have reloaded smartly ahead of the new campaign, with the headline arrival of Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool giving them a world-class weapon at the right-back position, and the addition of highly rated young defender Dean Huysen strengthening the spine of their back line. These two signings add both experience and youthful promise to a squad already boasting the lethal trio of Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe. With that mix of established stars and carefully chosen reinforcements, Madrid look every bit like a side built to push Barcelona all the way. Atletico Madrid are another team to watch. Diego Simeone has rebuilt his side with a mix of grit and flair, with Antoine Griezmann still producing at a high level. Atletico may lack the depth of Barcelona and Madrid, but in one-off matches, their tactical discipline makes them dangerous. Beyond that, few teams in Spain look capable of consistently challenging Barcelona. Sevilla are rebuilding, Villarreal lack depth, and Real Sociedad remain strong but not on the same tier. La Liga is increasingly becoming a two-horse race, with Atletico trying to crash the party. For Barcelona, retaining La Liga is not just about beating smaller teams, it's about outlasting Real Madrid in a marathon of consistency. Given how young and hungry the squad is, they'll fancy their chances of defending their crown. In Europe, Barcelona face a much bigger test. To win the Champions League, they will need to outlast the continent's very best. Manchester City, who, despite the disappointment of last season, have gone back into the market and reinforced with new signings. With Pep Guardiola still at the helm and a squad hungry to prove themselves, City look as dangerous as ever. Then there's Liverpool, fresh off winning the Premier League last season under Arne Slot. They've added significant new signings to strengthen their already high-intensity pressing style. With Mo Salah still producing the numbers and record signing Alexander Isak joining the front line, Liverpool look like one of the most complete sides in Europe. Paris Saint-Germain, meanwhile, come into the campaign with the confidence of having lifted the Champions League last season. Their squad, led by the likes of Dembele, Doué and Kvaratskhelia, is filled with pace and unpredictability, and finally looks capable of sustaining a serious European dynasty. Bayern Munich can't be ignored either, with Harry Kane continuing to provide a ruthless edge up front and the likes of Michael Olise and Luis Diaz firing from the wings. Bayern look like the team to beat. And finally, looming largest of all is Real Madrid. Their Champions League pedigree is unrivaled, and if there's one team capable of defeating you without even playing better football, it is Madrid. For Barca, Europe is the ultimate proving ground. They've already reasserted their dominance domestically, but lifting the Champions League trophy would be the definitive statement of their return to the very summit of world football. So, what do you think? Can anyone stop Barcelona this season? Or are we witnessing the birth of another dynasty? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.